After the groundbreaking events of Episode 18, Dragon Ball Daima Episode 19 continues to ride the wave of excitement, delivering yet another thrilling installment packed with intense battles, strategic maneuvers, and shocking revelations. Episode 18 was a celebration of nostalgia, bridging the gap between modern Dragon Ball and the lost legacy of GT. With the long-anticipated return of Super Saiyan 4 still fresh in fans' minds, this episode takes things even further by showcasing the transformation in a new light while also setting up major developments in the ongoing battle against Third Eye Gomah. When Dragon Ball Daima was first announced, it was met with mixed reactions. Some fans were excited at the idea of a new adventure from Akira Toriyama, while others were skeptical about its premise. Turning the beloved characters into kids again felt like a risky move, especially since Dragon Ball GT had already attempted something similar with Goku. However, as the series progressed, it became clear that Daima was carving out its own identity. Episodes 18 and 19 have been pivotal in shifting the perception of Daima from a mere side adventure to something much more significant within the franchise. Episode 18 set the stage for one of the biggest developments in the series by reintroducing a familiar yet unexpected transformation, one that longtime fans never thought they'd see again in an official capacity. Episode 19 doubled down on this reveal, making it clear that Daima isn't just playing around with nostalgia, but actively redefining certain aspects of Dragon Ball lore. The return of what appears to be Super Saiyan 4, or at least a variation of it, has sparked massive discussion. While the details of how and why this transformation is manifesting remain a mystery, its presence alone is a game changer. What makes this even more intriguing is how it impacts the narrative. Daima has slowly been building up its own lore, hinting at deeper mysteries behind the magic affecting Goku and the others. This new transformation raises countless questions. Are we seeing a new branch of Saiyan evolution? Does this tie into an ancient power lost to history? Could it even redefine what it means to be a Super Saiyan? The fact that these questions even exist proves that Daima is more than just a fun side story. It has the potential to alter the way we view Dragon Ball as a whole. Now, let's break down Episode 19 in detail, its plot, the significance of its major moments, and what it means for the future of Dragon Ball Daima and the franchise as a whole. But before we begin, if you're looking for a place to discuss all the hype, share theories, or just connect with fellow fans, join our Discord server, Hype's World. It's the ultimate hub for Dragon Ball enthusiasts. Don't miss out on the discussions, check the description for the link. The episode kicks off wasting no time as we see Arinsu celebrating, thinking Glorio got her wish granted, but surprise surprise, it seems Glorio had some other motives. Suddenly, Goku, Piccolo, Vegeta, and the others from Earth start glowing in gold with no idea what's happening to them. After some time, Goku realizes what's happening. He gives off an excited smile as he awaits what's about to happen. His hands and legs slowly turn bigger as the camera then shifts to reveal to us adult Goku back in good shape. Goku immediately starts to test his body and get familiar with his old movements. Moments later, we see Vegeta, Piccolo, Bulma, Shin, and even Dende return to their original states. Vegeta gets excited and celebrates a little after returning back to normal, while Piccolo just accepts the situation calmly without reacting much. Shin wonders what could have happened that made them go back to normal, but then Dende takes their attention. Dende grows in size as Pansy holds him in her hands. That's one funny moment. That awkward moment with Pansy must haunt Dende for eternity now. Goku wastes no time in thinking Glorio. Arinsu is left confused. She has no idea why Glorio betrayed her. With the wish now granted, Piranga bids farewell to everyone and the Dragon Balls scatter around the Demon Realm. I wonder if there is any recharge time for these Dragon Balls, like Earth's or Namek's. If there is, I wonder how long that would be considering the fact that Neva never wanted anyone to get their hands on the Dragon Balls, so I guess it's probably 1,000 years? Or maybe since these are all the original Dragon Balls, they need no recharge time at all, just like Cerulean Balls. Earlier in the episodes, it was stated that they don't need to find the Dragon Balls, as they're guarded by the Tamagamis and their locations are known to everyone. Now that they're all scattered, I guess Neva would need to move his fingers and perform some magic to pull the Dragon Balls and give them to each Tamagami to guard for the next eternity again. What do you think about this? Do you think these balls have a recharge time? Back in the episode, Gomah confidently comes up to Goku to tell him that there's still no match for him even though they've returned to their original states. Vegeta decides to face Gomah now since Goku had his chance to fight him alone, back when they were in the mini-states. Goku has no choice but to switch places with him. Vegeta versus Gomah begins. Vegeta uses his base form to fight Gomah at first. He does entertain Gomah a bit and surprisingly lands a few hits on him too. While Vegeta may have been on the defensive before, he now faces Gomah with complete confidence, even holding back in his base form. This just goes on to show that they're far too strong in their adult forms than they ever were in their mini forms. Meanwhile, Arinsu questions Glorio's loyalty to her, as he betrayed her and went against her wish to return everyone back to normal. She asks if Glorio forgot how she rescued him from the third demon world. This hints at Glorio's past, which we've not been told about yet. This suggests that Glorio might have once been in a dire situation, probably imprisoned or cast out. Was he a fallen noble? A warrior defected? His decision to defy Arinsu implies that he has his own moral compass, one that values something greater than allegiance. He further goes on to express to Arinsu that he's grateful for what she's done for him, but this is something he couldn't do despite Arinsu calling in for favors. Glorio had realized what carried more importance at the time, which made him betray his mistress Arinsu. She immediately fires off Glorio and asks him to leave. Glorio thanks her for everything she's done for him so far and leaves to join the others on the battlefield. This moment highlights an emotional shift for both Glorio and Arinsu. Glorio, despite betraying Arinsu's wishes, still respects her enough to express gratitude before leaving. His decision to fight alongside the others suggests that he has a sense of duty beyond personal loyalty. Ku makes it clear to Arinsu that he'll stick with her no matter what happens. Despite her frustration, Arinsu seems to find comfort in Ku's unwavering support. This could hint at her inner conflict. While she values loyalty, she might also feel abandoned. Ku's presence reassures her, preventing her from feeling completely isolated. I hope we get to see more of them before Daima ends. On the other hand, Vegeta keeps dodging Gomah's attacks effortlessly. He then sneaks up to land a huge hit on Gomah that takes him out by surprise. However, it doesn't affect Gomah much. Gomah tries to smash Vegeta with his hands, but Vegeta breaks free as he goes Super Saiyan. He lands a kick that sends Gomah flying away, smashing all mountains in the way. Gomah balances himself, but as Vegeta charges towards him, a powerful ki ignites within Vegeta. He transforms into Super Saiyan 3. Everyone starts celebrating seeing Vegeta Super Saiyan 3. It fills them with a new hope that could turn the tables in their favor. Vegeta wastes no time and shows off his power by casually punching Gomah in the gut. To be honest, Vegeta should have gone Super Saiyan 3 earlier in the battle. However, spending too much time in base form felt unnecessary when we all knew that he had more powerful transformations at his disposal. The fight dragged on longer than needed when Vegeta could have easily shown his true power to Gomah much earlier by immediately tapping into Super Saiyan 3. Perhaps the fight could have been structured differently to give Vegeta's transformation more weight without making the earlier part feel like filler. Meanwhile, Glorio returns to the battlefield and surprisingly, everyone, especially Pansy, welcomes him with open arms. Glorio never thought they would forgive him for hiding the fact that he was working for Arinsu all this time. This moment highlights one of Dragon Ball's recurring themes, the power of redemption and second chances. Glorio's fears are understandable, but what he doesn't realize is that the very warriors standing before him have lived through similar experiences. But little does our bro know what Vegeta and Piccolo did to Earth and Goku's friends in the past, and yet they forgave them and had them join their team. Compared to that, Glorio hasn't done much. Like on a scale of 1 to 10, Glorio's deeds rank at 1, while Vegeta and Piccolo's evil deeds rank at 11. However, both Vegeta and Piccolo not only redeemed themselves, but became some of the most trusted fighters in Goku's circle. Glorio's situation mirrors theirs in a way. He may have been on the wrong side before, but as long as he's willing to fight alongside them now, his past doesn't define him. In them, Glorio finds a new family. The warmth of Pansy and the others gives him something he's never had before, a true sense of belonging. For the first time, Glorio isn't just fighting for someone else's ideals, he's fighting for himself, for his new family. Even Goku gives him a thumbs up as he finally calls out his name correctly. It's a small yet meaningful moment that shows Goku's acceptance of Glorio as one of their own. Given how Goku misnames Glorio in the past, sometimes on purpose, sometimes out of pure forgetfulness, the fact that he got Glorio's name right this time speaks volumes. Meanwhile, Vegeta continues his streak of attacks on Gomah, giving him no time to breathe at all. He keeps on attacking him from all directions and finally ends it with a final flash that sends Gomah flying to the skies. Vegeta takes a moment to breathe after exhausting too much power in his final flash while being in Super Saiyan 3 as well, but all his efforts prove to be nothing as Gomah wakes up from the dead again. This time stronger and bigger. It almost seems as if the third eye has an unlimited power supply and grants invincibility to its user. And that's the end of the first half of the episode. Surprisingly enough, we didn't see any eye catchers this time. I wonder why. Coming to the second half of the episode, and oh boy is this a good one. It all starts once again with Vegeta in his Super Saiyan 3 state, and even though he's had the upper hand for quite a while, it's made increasingly obvious that Gomah's third eye is an incredibly powerful relic, which makes you wonder why Dabura didn't bother actually finding it. Considering that it's healing all of the injuries Gomah suffers almost instantaneously, it should be obvious that with the third eye, Dabura would have mostly been impossible to beat. Considering that Gomah has become even bigger than before, the fight is starting to go poorly for Vegeta. Goku himself notices that Vegeta's Super Saiyan 3 will not last for much longer, which seems kind of obvious considering that Vegeta has been fighting for quite a while already in that form and that he's even used a crazy powerful move such as the Final Flash. That's when Piccolo actually starts to become an important part of the puzzle that is to defeat Gomah, but first it is time for both Arinsu and Majin Ku to shine. Even if Glorio has betrayed Arinsu, Shin's sister is still interested in Gomah's defeat, which at the very least will ease her way into becoming Queen of the Demon Realm. But for Gomah to lose, it is completely necessary to get rid of the evil third eye, which is when Arinsu remembers that Bora's father was able to take off the relic whenever he actually wanted. That's the moment she sends Majin Ku to look for a magic book, which most likely will have key information regarding how to properly use the evil third eye. Ku obviously accepts the mission right away, given he is always eager to show just how reliable he can be. The anime switches then again to Vegeta's fight, who is now sweating. Every second, every minute that goes by, the Super Saiyan 3 transformation drains more of his stamina, while on the other hand, Gomah gets completely restored every single time thanks to the power of the evil third eye. At this point, Vegeta's fight takes a turning point. After a final assault on Gomah's massive body, Gomah strikes Vegeta with a ferocious massive punch, forcing the Prince of Saiyans to return to his base form. This obviously is not good news, since at the very beginning of the fight against Gomah, Vegeta has actually tried to fight the villain in base form, and even though he certainly managed to hurt him, Vegeta has not been able to take the upper hand in the fight up until he used the Super Saiyan 3. That is the reason that Goku tries now to convince him to let him enter the fight, but Vegeta obnoxiously refuses, as he normally does. Goku and Piccolo try to think of a plan in order to defeat Gomah, because if the villain keeps healing himself, it really doesn't matter just how many times he gets hurt. Luckily, Arinsu and Majin Ku are about to come to the rescue. Arinsu starts looking for information about the evil third eye in the magic book that Ku has brought for her. But she just isn't looking fast enough, and it is now finally time for Majin Ku to really shine. It was previously shown that even though Majin Ku is not really that strong as a warrior, he is in fact extremely intelligent for a Majin. This time, he uses some sort of special skill of his to browse through all of the magic book at an incredible speed, and he suddenly stops right at the page that deals with the evil third eye. Majin Ku gang, it's time to celebrate the big W of the boy, because the information they gather at this point is absolutely key to fight Gomah. Arinsu then proceeds to show herself in front of the Z Warriors to provide a big reveal. The only way to forcefully get the evil third eye out of Gomah's body is by hitting the back of his head 3 times in a row. It definitely doesn't look like an especially technical way to remove the artifact, but who hasn't done this kind of stuff at some point when something got stuck at home? On the other hand, even if Arinsu gives Goku and the others some invaluable information, she doesn't lose time at making it clear that she isn't their friend, but just interested in Gomah's defeat. Definitely a tsundere that Dragon Ball fans will remember for a long time. Now that they know how to approach getting rid of Gomah's evil third eye, Goku and Piccolo decide that while Goku would draw Gomah's attention, Piccolo will be the one to hit the villain 3 times in a row at the back of the head. At this point, Goku mentions that he doesn't have that much stamina left, so they need this plan to work out or they will be out of options. But now comes an even harder part, to make Vegeta accept that he needs to sub out. So far, Vegeta has made it pretty clear that he'd rather die than let anyone else fight Gomah at this point. But Vegeta didn't anticipate Bulma persuading him in the most savage of ways, taking away from him his husband privileges. As much as Vegeta loves fighting, he loves Bulma even more, and Bulma herself is completely aware of that. That's the reason that after Vegeta refuses yet again to sub out, she strikes with the mightiest of blows. If Vegeta doesn't back away at this very moment, she will not take a bath with him ever again. And this might very well be one of the funniest scenes in all 40 years of Dragon Ball, because the slow-mo together with Vegeta's realization of what Bulma's words implies, topping it off with a dashing move at an incredible speed, is just top-notch Dragon Ball comedy. And let's be real, a guy can understand Vegeta's fear. Now that Vegeta has decided to finally behave, it's Goku's turn. The Saiyan once again makes it clear that they only have one chance, so Gomah cannot suspect anything at all regarding their plan. That is the reason that Goku prepares himself for what has become his particular Victoria's Secret show, a detailed demonstration of every single transformation he is able to use as a Saiyan. At this point, Dragon Ball Daima's animation just goes crazy. The transformation into Super Saiyan and Super Saiyan 2 is pretty simple, but you can tell at a glance that the overall quality of the image is considerably increased for what's to come, and you better get ready because this is not for the faint of heart. After the first 2 levels of Super Saiyan, obviously comes the third. Dragon Ball Daima provides at some point multiple close-up shots from Goku that allow the viewer to observe just how exhausting it is to reach the Super Saiyan 3 level, one of the most draining transformations in all of the history of Dragon Ball. Masako Nozawa, at 88 years old, does an incredible job at screaming all the way through. She definitely is a legend, and Goku himself. Then, some lightning starts striking Goku's surroundings. The Super Saiyan 3 is as powerful as it's ever been at this point, and Goku's hair finally grows into that distinctive mane we were all introduced to in the Majin Buu saga. Goku announced that he has obviously reached the Super Saiyan 3 state, and Gomah confidently states that transformations don't matter anymore. It's obvious that the King of the Demon Realm feels so confident, since but a few moments ago he was already fighting a Saiyan who was using the Super Saiyan 3 transformation as well. One more bonus, Goku says surprisingly, in an instant that really sends shivers down the spine, because we all know what's to come. It seemed absolutely impossible before Dragon Ball Daima, but we already saw him accomplish the impossible in episode 18 of Dragon Ball Daima, to use the Super Saiyan 4 transformation that everyone fell in love with during the GT days. And if Daima was conceived as an anime made especially for those fans that watched Dragon Ball GT as kids, then there was no way that we wouldn't get Super Saiyan 4 Goku as an adult in Dragon Ball Daima. At this point, Dragon Ball Daima's animation is at the best that Dragon Ball has been in the last few years, probably Dragon Ball Super Broly level. Everything flows incredibly naturally, with all sorts of colors and special effects accompanying Goku in his peak moments. It is important not to forget that Daima is not a movie, but an episodic show, so the fact that Toei Animation has managed to actually reach this level of production is absolutely nuts. While Goku charges up, Gomah notices that not everything is the same. Then Goku's pupils turn red, and the Saiyan decides to take off his shirt because he knows he really isn't going to need it for what comes next. At this point, Goku's aura as well as his screams completely goes off. The power is impossible to contain. Goku is ascending into a height of power that Dragon Ball has never seen before at this point in time. Goku is definitely going well beyond the supposed Saiyan limits. This is not a Saiyan god. It is a Saiyan warrior empowered by the blood of a lineage that was born to fight and conquer. Finally, Goku's transformation explodes in a column of light that can be seen from all worlds in the Demon Realm, as expressed by the cuts to the other Tamagamis not present in the first world of the Demon Realm. When the excessive light clears out, a hand comes from behind a rock, then Goku again in a Super Saiyan 4 state. This moment very well resembles the epic first time that Goku transformed into a Super Saiyan 4 in Dragon Ball GT, standing proudly over a rock. This is simply peak Dragon Ball content. Goku has once again achieved his maximum power level, and with a full body shot it is made clear that he is ready to fight Gomah for the last time. The next episode of Dragon Ball Daima is called Zenkai, which may imply the notorious power-up that Goku has experienced through the Super Saiyan 4 transformation as an adult. There's another possibility, which is that there's some other power-up about to happen right at the end of the anime, but only episode 20 will provide an answer for that. Episode 19 of Dragon Ball Daima has definitely been peak, and together with episode 18 has managed to provide the beginning of what has become an incredible ending. Even though Daima kinda slowed down after showing Vegeta Mini as a Super Saiyan 3, this final stretch has become everything that Dragon Ball fans could have wished for while watching Dragon Ball Daima, from awesome transformation sequences to incredibly well-animated fight choreographies. However, Dragon Ball Daima will need now more than ever to provide an explanation dealing with the reason that Super Saiyan 4 is never seen in Dragon Ball Super, especially considering the fact that Goku is transformed at will in episode 19. A logical scenario would be for the Z-Fighters to go back to Earth and Goku suddenly realizing that he cannot use a Super Saiyan 4 transformation anymore. If we take into account that the first time that the transformation is used is because of Neva's magic, it could very well be the case that the form is somehow linked to the magic of the Demon Realm. Therefore, if the user of the transformation is not in the Demon Realm, then the necessary conditions for it to happen just cannot be met. This obviously would not explain why Goku never even mentions the transformation in Dragon Ball Super, considering just how relevant it is in Dragon Ball Daima, but at the very least it would explain why we don't see it later on. If I were to give it a rating, this episode is a big 10 for me. There's really nothing else that you could ask Toei Animation for. Or is there? It is important to remember that there's stuff that Goku and the others are yet to try, for instance the bugs that allow two warriors to fuse into a single being. Plus, what's the deal with Majin Doo and Majin Ku? Are they really not going to combine into a sort of Super Majin Dooku? Considering that one is fat and the other is skinny, it seems to follow the usual trope of them being the imperfect form and later on a perfect form showing up. Also, if a fusion finally shows up, will it really be between Goku and Vegeta? And if so, what is the name going to be? Gogeta should be a big no-no considering that he is introduced in Dragon Ball Super Broly when the two Saiyans canonically first used the fusion dance. But it would also not make that much sense for them to become Vegeto considering that Vegeto is the fusion resulting from the use of the Potara earrings. In any case, if you like this breakdown, please remember to like, share, and subscribe so that we can bring you even more Dragon Ball content. Thank you so much, and do not forget to tune in next week for the big finale of Dragon Ball Daima.